Yep. All right. So we should be live right now, but before we kind of get this thing underway, is there anything that you want to plug or anybody you want to shout out?
I want to shout you out, man, for bringing me in and letting myself talk to everybody and letting everybody know who I am. And I appreciate what you do with South Florida and all the kids and the whole country. To be honest, because you work hard and you're here, but then you're there the other day, like you're in Fort Myers the other
Yeah.
week. So you're working hard. That's a good thing for everybody in South Florida. It's good to get exposure and to get covered, and you're doing a great job.
Yeah, well, I'm just really blessed to be able to talk to people like you, all that stuff. It's an honor to be interviewing guys like you. But anyways, you kind of said like right in this like little intro we kind of got going on here, like you just want to tell people kind of who you are and everything. Kind of give yourself like a brief introduction and what you do, etc.
Well, I'm Josmel Martinez, and I'm pretty known here in Miami, part of Miami, because I was one of the leading scorers at Miami Palmetto Senior High. I hooped first before I turned into a trainer, and I did 2 years of college. I went to Broward College my first year, and then I went to Independence, tore my ACL, and then turned into a trainer, and then it was a blessing in disguise, because all these players that have come to me that I've trained, players that I see improving, young kids that I train every day. I do fitness, I do basketball. I have a kid that lost like 30 pounds in 3 months. Pretty impressive progress that I've been seeing from all the kids that I train day by day. You see little things and it makes you happy as a trainer, and then when you see these pros, you push them, and then that's a good thing for them because they need that little push to get a better contract or to go somewhere where they need to go next.
Yeah, and I love what you do. Well, I guess you want to say I don't love that this happened to you, but it shows like you said you tore your ACL and now you're a trainer. Like some players don't realize like a lot of people like I think there's some term where it's like when you're from like high school to let's say 25, you're in like that invincible state or something like that where you really think well, at least for me, like I'm a very like I worry a lot, so I'll probably never be in that stage, but the
Yeah,
average people kind of think nothing will
that's
stop
gonna
them. You see
happen.
like
Yeah.
you see like all these college kids that got parties that are going out in Corona and everything. Like it's just kind of that mentality. What I guess was that like a big wake up call for you when you kind of tore your ACL and realized like everything that you were working for just got taken away from you?
No, yeah, it was pretty sad, because I worked so hard throughout high school, through middle school, through elementary. During COVID, I was in my garage with my buddies working out hard every day, 3 or 4 times a day, putting up shots right in front the front yard in the garage, like working out hard under the sun, pushing each other. They're playing college right now, so we're pushing each other, but it happened. So I was like, what am I gonna do now? And I was like, why not share my knowledge and share the love of the game that I have and give it to the youth here in Miami, helping with Miami because basketball in South Florida is good, but Miami is the weakness of South Florida.
Yep.
Between Palm Beach and Broward, Miami is the weak city, I think, out of those three cities.
Yeah. I
And
I would agree. I would agree.
yeah, so I want to change the culture and bring it back to where it was when Miami High. Like when I was in high school, it was pretty good. We had South Miami, us at Palmetto. We had a bunch of really good high schools and really good basketball players here. But now I'm looking at these high school teams and I'm like, wow, like it's falling off. Every Broward is the most consistent city.
Mhm.
Out of the three, but that's what I would love to see from Miami, consistency with high school kids coming out of here, but it never happens. Consistency is like it's terrible here.
Yeah. I mean like so I live in Broward County, so it's like I had to pick between Miami and Broward. I'm gonna rep the 954 always,
Oh,
but
and I'm
but,
gonna
but
rep the 305 always. I'll die repping the
yeah, yeah.
305, but Broward is way better in basketball as of right now. Hopefully, it'll change one day because there's
Yeah.
a lot of resources here for it to change. But the problem is coaching, and there's a lot of issues here in Miami. But that's the issue right now. And then there's too many distractions. Kids don't like to focus here.
Mhm.
There's a lot of distractions, and then kids rather go to a party Friday night instead of going
Yeah.
inside the gym and putting in extra work.
Yep.
You know,
That's why people don't like they don't. Well, I also feel like though there are those many like God given talents that a lot of these kids have, but then also those kids have those gifts, and then they also have the mentality where they're not going to parties. They don't have a girlfriend or anything. That's kind of what I've like picked up on, since I became a freshman in high school. Like certain bits, like I wouldn't say I know what you need to do to make it, but I say I would know some things, but like at least I find it cool kind of how you're trying to put like not like Miami maybe back on the map, or well I guess you kind of are trying to do that, but just make South Florida basketball like a well respected
no,
thing
yeah,
again.
I'm just trying to make South Florida basketball like from little kid to grow it up. Middle school, high school. I want the kids to like realize what it takes to earn a scholarship, because none of these college coaches are gonna risk their self and their family's lives for them if they're not doing good off the court, first of all, and then on the court they're iffy. They're not gonna give you a $50,000 scholarship because the way you just play. You have to do other things to attract those coaches. You got to play hard. You got to do good off the court. You got to do everything really good for them to trust you, for them to give you a scholarship.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think like while you were talking, I just thought of this. Like I think the whole reason why is you say South Florida basketball. Like it's definitely on the come up, and I've actually realized like this year, the middle of the year, I'm like, oh, actually, South Florida basketball this year isn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be because we lost a lot of talent, and the reason why we did, like it would have been low. At least Broward would have been insane. Like and but then Miami too. Like all the guys left, or I guess let me
No, yeah,
see,
yeah.
1, 2,
The
3,
Miami
4,
kids, they're
5.
talented.
Yeah,
They
six
left.
players in South Florida all left to either go to IMG, Montverde, or West Oaks, and that's kind of like the big issue.
The
I think the big
FIA or the
people,
national,
yeah,
the
yeah,
national level.
people don't see that they could, make I guess make it out of South Florida, and even though like I think like I saw Malik Renew play, in Fort Myers and everything, like
Yeah.
he definitely made the right decision 100%. I think if he stayed at Matter Academy, his future could be completely different. Because again, a lot more distractions and everything. Like I don't think
No,
he made
the
the wrong decision,
Montverde
but
is a different level. It's a
yeah,
different
yeah.
type
That's
of.
that's the toughest part is that these kids
Yeah.
like they'd rather just transfer to a big prep school, and most kids around the country would rather just transfer to a big time prep school in the middle of nowhere, than kind of stay and make it out of their hometown and kind of put their hometown back on the map. And that's kind of where, and it's not really the wrong decision, but that I think is the biggest factor to why South Florida basketball is kind of
Yeah, and there's
losing
no
respect.
the programs here can't match up with those schools. The
Yep.
programs here can't match up with the schools. So, like a great player like that, he would just sit down and be like, "Which school am I gonna go to? You know, which school is gonna give me more scholarships? Which school is gonna help me more on the court and off the court? Which one is gonna give me more connections?
Yeah, and that's kind of why like the thing I like the most about like Calvary Christian is like Ben Middlebrooks, like he could have probably transferred to Montverde, IMG, so something like that, some school like Sunrise Christian, one of those schools,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
instead he went to Calvary Christian. That's all like they're at least for these next couple of years, like they're the like they could hang with those teams. They should have
Oh
been they
yeah,
could
yeah.
like a
No,
national.
that coach has a great program, and
Yep.
Marvell, great players.
Yeah.
Carl, great player. Really good players there, and a great program, great school too. So, and Ben, I played him. He was a freshman, I think, and I was a senior. He was very young. I knew he was going to be a special talent too. So when I saw that happen, I was like, "That's a great fit." That's a great fit. They're going to
Yeah.
be long, big, athletic. It's good. It's a really good addition for them with that kid.
Yeah, but like Ben and I, like we're not friends or anything, but like I guess you could say we both support each other. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I follow he follows me, so I don't like hate him personally, but just like out of every time I see him play, I've never seen him play good before. But I still like I know he's good because he has the kind of the offers and plays with each one, teach one. Like everything is his resume proves that he's good. I haven't had a chance to see him like
No, no,
dominate.
I played against him. I knew he was going to be special because we were seniors and we were big, and the
Yeah,
way
he has a good body. His body's good.
he has a good body, and the way he faced up, not that many freshmen know how to catch the ball and just face up and give you a jab and shoot. Not that many that are that tall and with that frame. Frame and height. A college coach sometimes just looks at your frame and says, "Wow, I got to get this guy to my program, you know?
Yeah. I I I think it's gonna be a good move for him because like at Westminster Academy, like he kind of had to do not like do too much, but he kind of did like have to play a different role that he probably is not going to play in college or at the next level or anything. So I think when he goes to Calvary Christian, like on a team with all the good players, he'll be able to kind of play his role and play his game. I think that's gonna probably be the best basketball he's ever going to play, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, and they should get into all the really good tournaments out there with that team. They should get
Yeah,
into
yeah,
it.
they already are, and they were in them all this year too.
Yeah, man, they should because that team is loaded.
Yeah, but I guess it's kind of it's always fun to talk about South Florida basketball, but kind of the main thing is kind of talking more about you.
You hear
So
the mic? You hear the mic?
yeah, that's why. So I'm gonna mute you every time I talk because then the feedback doesn't come out on like the broadcast most of the show.
Shit.
Yeah, no. I'm just gonna mute you when I talk, and then I'll mute you when I stop talking, and that's how. So it might be bad for you, but like for everyone watching, it'll be fine. So yeah, so like right now you're muted, and I can mute you, unmute you, whatever. So, yeah. So if you like really can't hear me, then refresh it. But at least like for now, like it probably sounds pretty clear. But anyways, you said so you basically stop playing basketball, and all of a sudden you're like, yo, I want to share my knowledge and everything. Like how did you think you were like you kind of have the skill set and the knowledge to be a trainer? Because you could have a lot of general basketball knowledge, but it still takes like being a trainer is different than just knowing a lot about basketball and how to play on a team. So how'd you learn how to be a literal basketball trainer?
So I growing up, Miami Hoop School actually, Andrew Moran, I give him credit. He was my trainer 8th grade year. My high school coach was a college coach. Athletics, I've been through pro style athletics, and a bunch of guys learned under a lot of people's wings, and my college coach was a Division 1 coach, and all that knowledge that I learned, I put it together a little bit from everybody. Read a lot, was interested. Once I started it took me like about a month, to start looking into it, and then I was just like, yeah, I can do this because some of these, not I don't say, like, I don't like bringing no one down, but some of these guys just pick up the basketball and say, hey, I'm a trainer, and then what I want to do is actually show people how to play in the game. I don't want to show something that you're not going to do in game, I actually want to show people the knowledge of what to do in the game. So the footwork, I look at the little details. So when I'm training someone, no matter who they are, James, Daniel, Chris Likes, Ted Capito, anybody, I look at the little details. I look at the film. I break it down. I look at all the little details to make them better. Sometimes everybody needs improvement. Even the best, even the best needs improvement. And the little details is what helps them, and that's what people don't notice. So that's pretty much it. A lot of people I've learned from, and it's helped me like to get where I'm at, and I just want to keep pushing and learning, from other trainers, and hopefully one day I'm working for an NBA agency, or an NBA team. That's the goal as a trainer, that's the main goal. If like as a basketball player, I wanted to make it to the league, but it didn't happen. Now, as a trainer, I gotta make it somewhere. Anything I do, I want to be the best at it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and you touch on the whole like breaking down film and everything. Like I feel like I'm not gonna, that's obviously in my opinion very hard to do, but I would say like I can maybe figure it out over a course of time if I'm at all the players' games, sitting courtside or pretty good seats, like just honing on that player. But I'm assuming it's not the case for you. Like you're probably having to search up YouTube highlights and everything. And if it's like a college or a pro, they don't have someone like right on the floor, and that's their highlights. Like it's gonna be almost like a TV distance where I feel like it can be. Is it like slightly hard to kind of hone in on those little things when the camera angle, when you're kind of watching and trying to break down their game, is kind of far?
Well, the farther it is, like the further it is, the harder it is, to like break down the film. But the closer you are, the better it is. But like when someone messes up with footwork and you know it, you can see it from a mile away, 3 miles away. It doesn't matter how far you are. I can see that mistake. So it doesn't matter if I'm very close or far away. I'm gonna see that mistake they did, and then I'm gonna show them, and then see the things that we can do to improve it. Because sometimes, let's say the footwork is bad, and they made the shot. But if they would have done the footwork good, they would have made the shot in less than a second. They wasted a second more with the footwork they did bad. They did wrong. So the footwork is very important. So let's say I'm catching and ripping into a pull up. If I don't have the right footwork and I mess up, that 1 second is 1 second less that you have with the possession of the ball that you can use for something better. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, and I appreciate, like, I guess you say the general example, but I'm wondering, like, could you give me like a super specific example about a player that you've trained and you watched their film, picked up on something, and then what you did exactly to fix it?
Oh, so perfect. So James Daniel III. So when he rips left, his mid range is less of a percentage shot. More likely, he's more likely to make it when ripping right than when to rip left. So watching his film, and then watching him the first time we trained, I picked it up right away. And then what we did was work on the going left and pulling up more than going to the right side, to fix that little problem. So little things. Sometimes these players, I don't know the players, and they show up, and I can tell like what they're weak at right away. Give me 10 minutes with them, and I can tell you like what's their weakness and what we need to improve on. So that's a example right there. When Jay came to me, and I saw him when he rips right, he's money. Boom, 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 money at all times. Rips left, he's weak. But now we've been working, and he's been doing really good. We went to Remy workouts. I don't know if you ever heard of him. We
Yeah,
went to Remy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've definitely heard of them before. Yeah,
Yeah, so we went to his runs, and he did really, really, really good. So, like, the work doesn't lie. The work always shows. Wherever the work will never hide. If you put in work, the work will always show.
yeah. I want to bring it back to that. I guess you say, give me 10 minutes with the player, and I could figure out, their weaknesses and their strengths and everything. Do you, like, when you get a new player, do you kind of have a sort of beginning couple of movements you have them do so you can figure that out, or do you just, I guess, what do you do if you get a new player and you're trying to pick that stuff away? Like, what's the first stuff you do with them?
Well, I warm them up, dynamic stretching and all that, and then we get on the court and we start doing ball handling. So if it depends if it's a guard, if it's a wing, everybody's different. So I warm them up different. More, I warm them up all with ball handling. So let's see, like, who can handle the ball to start it off. To see how tight the ball handling is. Some guys are losing the ball right away. Some just in the warm up. Some guys I noticed they just need ball handling more. But some guys that most of them never have that problem. So then when we start going downhill, when we start going towards the basket full speed, that's where I see who needs what. And then when we start shooting, some guys, everybody's different. Some guys need shooting, some guys need footwork. Everybody's different.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess you could say you're like, yeah, I would consider you like pretty new to the whole business of training and all that stuff, player development, whatever you want to call it. But you've trained, a handful of very highly recognized guys. I mean, one of the Miami people, Chris Likes, he's not from Miami, but I mean, he really did a lot for the University of Miami and everything. How are we able to get all these like highly recognized clients and everything when you haven't even been training for a year yet?
Oh, well, people talk, people look at videos. Social media is very big, and I know like a lot of people because as a basketball player, as a basketball player, people knew me. So once they started seeing my training work, a lot of people liked it. So that's how I have all these kids that are in the middle school and high school, great age group, and then college and the pros. Like people talk. So hey, who's your trainer? Who you're training with, bro? And then they're like, oh, this guy named Josmel Martinez. And then they come and they love it. A lot of people, it's just because it's not just what you put on the court, it's the work that we put in the court. They don't just come to me and then, oh yeah, let's just train. I'm gonna make them work hard. I'm gonna make them work, break a sweat. Work hard and have fun too while doing it. Have being competing. I make them compete a lot. That's another thing. If they're in groups, I make them compete and go at each other. Now I'm not saying as a one-on-one, but I'm saying as let's see who makes the first 10 shots. Like let's see who wins. Out of you four, let's see who gets to 10 first. That's how I make them compete a lot and they're going at it. They're having fun while getting better. So that's another thing too, being different.
Yeah. So I guess like you don't really know how you kind of got your first big client. You just kind of have like an idea. It was just from word of mouth through some sort.
Well, Jay was my first client. James Daniel was my first client. We met and then we started working out, and then it was Chris, and then it was Tekapita, and then I have another guy. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He played at Arizona State. He's from the Congo. That's why it's hard to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
He played at ASU. He was actually like top 80 player in high school. I trained Victor Hart, the kid that signed to FIU. I'm pretty sure you've heard of him. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Victor Hart, my point guard from high school. He was at Georgia. Now he's transferring. And I have a bunch of players, because people know people and I know people. So putting in work. That's all. My most important thing is making them better while having fun. That's the most important thing. Have fun, but get better at the same time. Because that's the main focus. Don't come to me to just have fun or just to waste time. We're not wasting time. Time is precious, so we're gonna work while we have it.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that statement you made with the whole like having fun while still working. But you said like how James Daniels was your first client, so you just kind of have like I guess a lot of mutual friends or just new people that knew him, and that's how you guys connected, or how? Because that's a pretty pretty good first client to have.
Well, as a first client, as a pro, or first client overall, because I had so many clients before him.
Yeah. I guess like I guess since he's kind of like your first like big guy, how are you able to land him?
Oh, through Instagram. We met through Instagram, and he's from Virginia, and he was, bro. Jay is a great guy, man. Jay is a great guy. He's different. He's not like these other guys that are pros and they're mean. He's a great human being, raised by a great family. So he gave me the opportunity, and I went with it, and he's getting better, and he's coming back soon. He's gonna come back in about 2 or 3 weeks, and we're gonna get back to the gym. So we met through social media a bit. We're lifetime, lifetime friends, lifetime trainer and player. We're gonna be together for forever, until the ball stops.
Yeah. So like with me, what I kind of do is how I interview all these players. Like I have to use social. Like that's all I'm on. Like people are like, yeah, I'm too focused. I put my Instagram on Do Not Disturb. Like I put all my social medias on Do Not Disturb except for Instagram because like that's where I get all my business and my network with all these people. It's all through Instagram. It's all with social media. So that's kind of what you were doing. You were just reaching out to tons of players that played college basketball or maybe play professional or kind of in that stage between college and professional basketball. And you started DMing players, no matter where they lived or I guess, school or anything like that, just to see, who you can network with and everything.
Well, with Jay, yeah, I reached out to him to see, hey, you're trying to put in work whenever you're in Miami, because Miami is the home for a lot of
Yeah,
people that come to vacation. You know, it's a big city, fun city for these guys to come. And well, with him and then a couple guys that I've played against, you know, we touched through social media. Instagram is a very big platform. You know, it's a lot of people don't use it correctly, but it's a very big platform to grow and to get bigger in anything you're doing. Let's say, as for you, as for me, for if you're trying to make anything, if you're trying to get big in anything, social media and Instagram is very helpful. And now TikTok, I see TikTok is doing pretty good with that too. So
yeah. So since you kind of brought that up, like it seems like you maybe have some sort of expertise on, how to kind of grow through Instagram or through social media. What would be like your advice to me specifically about how I can maybe grow more, I guess?
so to grow more, what I do is stay active. That's number one. You stay active. You know, post on story. Make sure you have like interaction through your story. I get about like 1,000 and something views a day on my story, and
That's great.
I only have 1,600, and I started about 4 months ago with my Instagram, and it's because they're interested in what I'm posting every day on my story. You know, they want to see what's going on every day. So, and here in Miami, everybody talks. You know, everybody knows everybody, so they like to see what's going on, where all the trainers, where all the players, and yeah, just post every day story. And I don't really post on my post every day, but on my story I post every day, and I make sure I post every day to stay active and networking too. So let's say I meet someone new, I'm like, hey, go give me a follow, check my page out. You know, I'm a trainer. Boom, and growing.
Yeah.
That's very helpful. Like talking in person, networking in person. Once you meet someone new, letting them know what you do. That's a great thing to do always. When you meet someone, let them know what you do, because you never know who's who. You know, you never
Yeah.
know who's who.
Yeah. And that's usually what I do. Like I like at any event I go to, I usually try to network people and talk to people. But now I'm trying not to show the Instagram as much and more like trying to get phone numbers and everything like that. Then you can maybe tell them because I'd rather get a phone conversation first than an Instagram follow and relationship done. So I'm trying to maybe now I'm asking for more phone numbers and I guess Instagram follows and everything. But the story thing I have to like it's so weird because it's like I post like my story like you said you get 1,000 views like I usually get like here I can check right now. So so I have one from 23 hours ago, and it's at 394 views, and that's my story. But then it's weird because if I post like when I was in Fort Myers, I posted a video of like Jet Howard warming up, and that thing got like 1,000 story views. It's like when I post a video of like a game or something like that, even it was him warming up. That thing just got a lot more views than anything else I put. Like I don't know how it works, but that's just kind of what it does. So it's a little weird. But now you kind of talk about the whole having fun and training kind of thing. Like I want like that is kind of a hard balance, between having fun and putting in work. You said how with groups, it sounds more like fun, like oh, first 100 shots, first this like competition. That's obviously fun for most athletes. But when it's a one-on-one kind of thing, how are you trying to make it fun while they're putting in work and getting a little tired and all that?
Oh, so let's say it's 1-on-1. We're training. I jump in. I can play too, baby. I jump in, and let's say we're competing. We compete against each other. Let's say first one to 20. Boom. We take turns. We go. If not, if he's by him, if let's say he's not shooting, and I'm trying to make it fun, I make him compete with himself. Not You don't always have to compete with someone. You competing with yourself is sometimes better than competing with anybody. Because if you're competing with yourself, that's a different level of a mindset. If you can compete with yourself, like have that mindset of competing with yourself, it's just a different level of competing. If you can compete with yourself, you can compete with anybody. To be honest.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure like you're trying to learn a lot, I guess you'd say, throughout your like training process. What are some things about the way you are as a trainer that I guess you're trying to get a little better at?
Well, you as a basketball player?
Oh, no, no, no. I'm saying like for you, like helping train. Unless you think you're basically good, but I'm sure for most people, like there's always more you could learn. Like what other
Oh
things
yeah,
about
yeah,
you
yeah.
are you trying to perfect?
No, of course, there's always room for improvement. That's no one is perfect, man. Even the best players in the world, the best trainers, no one's perfect. There's always room for improvement for everybody. And I'm always trying to learn, the pick and roll action, how to make these guys break the screen, break through the screen, and off ball work, downhill pin downs, backdoor screen work, all the stuff to off the screen, I'm trying to get better at.
Yeah.
And there's always room for everything, You can get better as a trainer or as a player, watching film. Every day there's always room for improvement. I'll always watch every day film as a trainer, I break down the film that I trained with my people and I see what I can do better at than that day. For the next day, I go and I watch videos to see what I can do better. There's always room for improvement. So I study a lot and I read a lot, you know.
Yeah. Those screen action stuff like I really didn't know what a high level training is like, but then I kind of seen a couple and that's basically like half the things unless they're working maybe on shooting or something like that or ball handling, like majority of it is all these screen actions where it does make sense because kind of your training philosophy is like you want to represent things that are happening in games. So I know like it may be like you're gonna kind of ask them like, oh, like how's your set? Like what screens are coming off of? And like, oh, I'm coming off this down screen. So I was like, all right, so here we're gonna go, down screen and come off and shoot him or shoot shot, whatever the proper tense is. But I guess you say it's kind of how it works in a more pro or high level workout or something that I kind of picked up on is how important those screen action drills are. But I've seen a lot of or not a lot, but there's some trainers that kind of like they're their own person, but they're more like first and building their own brand by helping out somebody like Remy Workouts or Miami Hoop School or somebody maybe in another states like helping with some big time trainer over there. Like, why'd you kind of choose to start your own thing and just start like 305 Buckets instead of maybe just trying to reach out to one of these big time trainers out here in Miami and try to be one of their assistants and then grow?
Well, that's a great question. That's a good one. I always wanted to be like my own person. I've always on the court and then as a trainer, those are great guys. I have nothing against Moran, Remy, and Taylor too. Taylor's a great guy too. Taylor, all those guys are big time in this training industry. But I've always wanted to be myself, and I think I can grow because I put in the work every day, and I have that strive to be always great because I've always as a player and as a trainer, like I said, I've always wanted to be better and better and better and better. Of course, I pick up little things from everybody, like pick up here and there, but I've always wanted to be by myself, a lone wolf, like they say, by
Yeah.
myself. Even though those guys know a lot about training, but I've always wanted to be by myself, and I think I can do it by myself. I think I
Yeah.
really can.
And something I guess you could say is kind of not like an issue, but a reason why some of these trainers maybe aren't, building their own brand or still kind of sticking with these companies is the whole like facility thing. Like, we got to find a facility for me to work in, all that stuff. You obviously are good with getting a gym. Like you're okay with finding a court or a place to work guys out at. So how do you figure that whole, I guess, side of the battle out with getting facilities and all that?
Well, because I'm connected with, first of all, with a gym owner, so I'm very blessed with that. And then I have my own weight room. I have my own weight room, so these guys can come lift. And let's say the gym, the basketball court is closed down, the facility that I usually use, I can get in contact with one of these high school coaches down here in Miami and get that taken care of. So I've been that's the big part with a lot of these trainers, that they're so scared to go by themselves because they don't know how to do it by themselves. So, but I've found ways to push myself, to always find a way. There's always a way. There's always a way. If you try, you'll find. There's always a way.
Yep. And I mean, I want to go back to those, like, those high level clients. One of them, Chris likes, like, there usually there's a lot of like high level players out there that I may have like a mutual, I guess, interviewee with. Like, I interviewed somebody, they know this person, but Chris likes kind of a guy that I'm more of like a fan of. Like, I've seen him play a lot of times. Like, I've enjoyed watching him play. So I just want to know, like, training a guy like him, what all that was like.
Oh no, Chris is different. Well, James and Chris are two very short guards. They're not the biggest guards. They're under 6 feet. But their athleticism on the court is what separates them from these guards that are 6'2" and lanky and long. Because they're very quick. They have very good jumper, and they have a different passion to the game than everybody else. You got to have a big heart, a heart of a lion at that height if you're trying to be great, if you're trying to go to the pros or play at that level that Chris is playing at. Now that he's our Kansas, it's big time for him. He has a big shot for the tournament. I think he's gonna do very good next year. He's a dog on the court, so I believe in him. I believe in him.
Yeah. Do you have it all like a favorite training session? Like, I don't know if you remember all of them, but was there one, time in particular, one session when you were training either a singular guy or a group of guys that was kind of your favorite?
Oh no, I wish I can think like of my favorite. I haven't had a favorite yet. All of them have been really, really good, but I haven't had a wow, like a different, different. I haven't had that one yet. I hope to have it soon, though, in the summer. In the summer is
Yeah.
the time, the time that all these players come, and I hope to get wild one of these days in the summer.
Yeah. Are you, I guess, trying or at least like doing a lot to try to get some, because the summer it's when it's the off season work for the NBA and I guess college too. Is that kind of what you've been working on right now, like a little underground project?
Well, this summer I have a big project coming in, a bunch of players coming in from all over the country. So it's gonna be a big surprise, when all these players come in here and people see, oh wow, how did he get these people? It's just hard work and connections. It's just hard work and connections. I'm gonna have a lot of really good talent here in the summer, and they're gonna work out hard on the court and off the court, and I'm gonna make sure I take care of them. And they're doing the right thing here in Miami.
Yeah. And the reason why, like, I don't know if you know, like, throughout the interview, like, I'll be saying trainer, then I'm like player development, is because I interviewed someone like a months ago, and he said, like, I don't want to be a trainer, like, I'm hoping to be like a player development person, because he believes, like, calling someone a trainer is almost like an offense, like it's player development. You're not just a trainer. So I every time I interview somebody that does player development or something like that, I kind of ask them their opinion on that debate. Like, do you care trainer, player development? Do you think there's like a big difference between the two?
Well, everybody has their different views, Everybody has their different views, but I don't mind getting called a trainer or player development coach, whatever they like to call me. But I know what I bring to the table, as a person, and as a person, first of all, and then as a trainer, coach, whatever they want to call me. But I know what I bring to the table every day.
Yeah, for sure. And before we kind of wrap this thing up, I kind of want to ask like a little more personal question. So for me, like, I'm not the best hooper, not the best athlete, but I guess you say I am trying to become a trainer or player development guy. Like, I've had a few. I haven't trained anyone like myself, but I've had a few. I guess a handful of experience, kind of seeing what it's like, kind of putting my feet in the water a little bit, like just to kind of diversify my skill set and see what sorts of things I could do, because the more diverse I am, the more, I guess, in the sports world, the more better I have a shot on getting one of these jobs that would be anybody else's dream job. So what would be your advice to somebody like me that's not really the best athlete and the best basketball player? Because I know like being a good basketball player is obviously very helpful when you're training guys.
Well, well, film. When you have time, break down film and see what moves are very helpful for a person that plays the game. So everybody has their different touch into the game. Some guys are very good at mid range. Some guys are very good at 3 pointers. Some guys are very athletic, but they don't have a great 3 pointer. As a person that's trying to be a trainer or a skills person, whatever you want to call it, it's just film. A lot of film helps to see what you fall in love with. What you want to really do. Film will help that.
Yeah, definitely. But and now just kind of more general question. Kind of give me some personal advice. What would be your advice just in general for anyone trying to make it in this training industry? Because I know it is like, even though you're not this big time guy like like the Remy workouts or something like that. At least starting less than a year ago, and to where you are today is pretty huge, and compared to just how just how competitive the training industry is. So, what would be your biggest advice to just inspiring trainers and people like that?
Oh, if you're trying to be big one day, you gotta work like you're trying to get there. You can't just slack off. You can't. You gotta wake up and know what you're gonna do every day. You gotta have a plan every day. You gotta work your tail off. You gotta get to what you want. You gotta set a goal. Write down a goal. I always have a goal for every month. When I first started, I had a goal, and I still have a goal. I don't like to say it. I like to get it done. That's why, that's my thing. I don't like to say anything. I just like to get the job done. So that's my thing. Some people like to say what they're gonna do, but I want to get the job done. I want to, I want to know, like I want to get what I put in my head done. So whoever's trying to be a trainer one day is just hard work. You gotta work like a player. You gotta study. You gotta put in work as a trainer. When I started training, like sometimes I'll train people for free. Like my first week, just because I was trying to learn to
Yeah,
get even better and perfect my craft. Once I started feeling that I was good enough to charge, then I started charging, and then I started getting better and better and better and better and better. And sky's the limit. There's always room like to get better. Like we said earlier, like you asked me earlier, there's always room to improve. So I'm not the best, but I'm gonna keep improving and keep on working. That's one thing about me. I'm gonna work differently. Like I want to. That's one thing I want to be different at. Outworking everybody. I want to outwork everybody. That's one thing.
yeah. Just to follow up to like starting off training guys for free, because I believe like that's an important thing too. Is you shouldn't like, of course you shouldn't underestimate yourself, but you shouldn't like overestimate yourself. You shouldn't be a new trainer and charge these guys. Like I think I would do the same thing too. If I'm starting off young like yourself, where you do have a lot of experience at the same time, like you really don't have a lot of experience. So I'd probably charge guys for free as well, and then eventually work up the pricing and everything. So I think it was a really good job on your part. But was it tough? Because I think going all the way back to the beginning of the interview, we were saying how guys, like South Florida basketball is kind of dying and everything. Another tough part too is that players aren't willing to pay a few bucks for a mixtape or pay this much money to go to the camp or something like that. So was that at all tough? Like once you then said like, all right, I think I'm ready, I'm going to start charging prices. Were some people like all right, nah, like I'm not going to pay for training?
Well, once I started charging, everybody started paying. So that means I was doing something right. That means like yesterday, like like what parents tell me is like very helpful. Like this mom was like, every day we talk about you at dinner. Every day we talk about how you changed my son's life, how you're doing very good with him. Like he hasn't met no one his whole life like you know, like someone that pushes him that much every day and consistently. Because that's my main thing, having everybody work hard and get better. Like I told you from the get go, you know, getting better every day and working hard every day. That's my main goal, you know.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Letting me interview. Definitely got a lot of good bits and pieces, a lot of good advice for future trainers, you know, future people inspired to do anything. You know, it kind of all applies, even outside of basketball and outside of sports. But before we get in this interview, make sure you guys give us a follow on Instagram at 305Buckets. And I'm at iHoopsFL. And anyways, for South Florida trainer, 305Buckets. Josmel Martinez. I'm Isaac Fleischer. This has been another IUPSF interview. Peace out, guys.